Welcome back to the program. You're still watching Daybreak, and it's time for us to take a look at the front pages today to give you a sense of the stories making the rounds across some select national dailies. First on the lineup is the Daily Trust newspaper for today, Wednesday, May 15, 2023. Here's a first look at the front page. Tariff protest. Don't derail our plan for power sector, federal government tells Labour. So the back and forth continues. Nigeria UN seek $306 million to end food nutrition crisis in Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states, all in the northeastern part of the country. Federal government eyes 20 trillion naira pension fund for infrastructure development. I have a pensioner in the studio who would give me his own 2 cents on this one. And as a future pensioner myself, I do have an opinion about it. But the big story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper today is talking about how terrorists have abducted over 80 in Katsina State. 80 persons. But also coming from Katsina State, this looks like just another regular development, as unfortunate as it may seem. Women among victims, military confirms Sunday's soldiers killing in the same area. They also, however, clarified that only 4 soldiers were killed in that ambush. The front page, you can see First Ladies, I believe, Chairman of the Northern State Governors Forum and Governor of Gombe State, Mohammed Inua, in a photograph with wives of Northern governors. I'm trying to see if I can see the First Lady of my state governor. Oh yeah, there she is. During a meeting in Gombe State, that was, of course, the First Lady is discussing various agendas. But below that picture, ASU gives Tinubu 2 weeks to reconstitute or constitute universities governing councils. Elsewhere, President suspends cyber security levy. Niger Speaker holds wedding plans for 100 orphans. The Minister of Women Affairs has taken up this particular issue, saying that she's going to sue. He, however, said that his intentions were good, and he's not going to take back the funds that has been budgeted to take care of those orphans that were to be wed. Government to unveil guidelines for CNG vehicle conversion. One would have thought that we would have made a lot of inroads by now since the removal of fuel subsidy almost 12 months ago. Let's take a look at the front page of the Punch newspaper for today. Policy blitz, Tinubu unveils 21 major initiatives after marathon Federal Executive Council meeting. 2 trillion mortgage initiative, President, all Nigerians to pay airport toll. Again, I mean, really big deal. But anyway, that's in the news. Ban on sand dredging, I beg your pardon, 10 kilometer from bridges, New Lagos Airport Recovery System, a host of others you can find on the Punch newspaper. The big story, however, on the front page of the Punch is talking about EFCC raiding speculators as naira drops to 1,540 naira to the dollar. Illegal BDC operators, speculators raided in Lagos, Abuja and Port Harcourt. Minimum wage, Labour insists on May 31st deadline. JAM releases more UTME results. I hope this one's good enough. Marketers ordered to open pumps to CNG vehicles, and police say banker stole customers 650 million naira. My goodness, I think this has to do with the recent arrest of a banker here in Abuja. More on that story on the pages of the Punch newspaper. Fubara tackles Wike over Rivers' heavy debt. And the drama continues to unfold in Rivers State. This Nigeria is our final stop this morning, so let's take a look at the front page of this Nigeria. More on that electricity tariff story, as 95% of protesters not affected by hike, says Adelabu. Oh my goodness. The Minister of Power is digging deeper into this one. Cautions Labour not to derail power sector reforms. Nigerian visa to go digital, ready in 48 hours. Federal Executive Council approves 96 billion to construct bus terminals, maintain generators, street lights along Presidential Villa. Constitution review, UK asks National Assembly to consider state police, poverty alleviation, gender inclusiveness. And in other news, regulate foreign crypto exchanges, IMF advises Nigeria. Okay, let's speak to our newspaper reviewer, who is a veteran journalist, former director of news at the Voice of Nigeria, / cybersecurity, or I beg your pardon, criminologist, and also pensioner, who is joining us this morning. Mr. Benjamin is here this morning in sun yellow, but this in yellow basically.
Yes, just to tally with the studio. Look at behind me.
And it's
daybreak,
and it's quite befitting. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Let's start on. Where do we start from? Let's start with a look at the Daily Trust newspaper. The big story for me is, obviously what's happening in Katsina State is quite devastating. But let's start off with the federal government's eye on that 20 trillion naira pension fund to address its funding gaps in infrastructure. As a pensioner yourself, how do you feel about it?
Let me laugh as if I'm happy. Well, it means the opposite. Now, tell me how people who have retired from work, I have retired from work, federal officer, I was director of training, I was director of news, I have not received a dime. I'm into my second year. Now, this is what the government is calling redundant funds. Up to 20 trillion naira. They will grab it and put on infrastructure. Go to my village. I don't have a tar road. I don't. Go to my village. We don't have pipe-borne water. People still fetch from the stream and drink. We go to the same source with cows, same with pigs, same with everything. I need my money. Just like many others who would want to have their houses, pay school fees. Those who retired without houses are borrowing to pay landlords. Their items have been thrown out of houses. Government is calling their money redundant fund. We're going to use it for infrastructure. Where's this infrastructure? Railway, check. I've checked around Nasarawa State, Southern Kaduna, enter Plateau up to Benue. Enter some areas of Bauchi. You see that the rail tracks that time, they are no longer there. You only find stones. Many areas have been. I mean, what is government doing? So you now say you take the money from pension and go into infrastructure. I mean,
obviously, they're probably not probably, they're definitely borrowing the money. Because at the end of the day, these pension managers also use it for other investments that accrue interest.
I hope there will be a law backing them to borrow my money that is mine. You took from my salary and put in an account. And also said you put something on my behalf from federal government. I've finished. Where is my money? So when you say you will borrow, is it by executive fiat or military fiat? Is there a law backing them? Even if a law is backing them, is that law people friendly? Is that law pensioner friendly? Is that law, I mean, when you're talking of poverty alleviation, you even applying to the UN to assist in terms of food security or insecurity in Nigeria. I mean, when you cannot impose it on state governors to give local governments their money so that the real local people, the real voters, will overcome poverty. You have not done that. It's the man who has retired, who is helpless, who sees no alert, who receives nothing. What he saved, you are going to collect, you're going to grab it by force. So you want to do infrastructure. Okay, where's this infrastructure? You do some roads, you do some ports, you do some what? Check the hospitals in the rural areas. You see nothing. So what has the poor man been getting? Is it the poor pensioners' money that you just go and take? Say, oh, we have to give infrastructure to other Nigerians. Look, before I left, you were taking money for national housing. I've not received that. I didn't collect a loan from them. You were taking money for health insurance. Thank God I didn't have reason to be on a hospital bed. I have left. So you see that you are being taxed here and there. And I'm surprised that Minister of Power is saying Labour is trying to derail government plans.
Exactly. That's what we're going to...
I really don't understand.
That's where we're going to...
Are there plans they have for electricity?
Segue next. Do you think those comments, as I'm posting some kind of frustration that the government has with organized labor, I mean, they picketed the NERC headquarters as well as disco offices across the country just to drive home this idea that they're not going to accept the new electricity tariff hike, and also pointed at some of the structural challenges faced by the country when it comes to power sector. Do you think that the goal of the organized labor, as captured by the Minister of Power, is to derail government's policies?
Honestly, labor is simply the mirror of society. They've seen the suffering of the masses, and that is why they went picketing. You picketed the areas, they will not work, and that is to tell them, that's government, to have a sense. They are seeing what the masses are seeing on behalf of the masses, for government to now also see and do something. Now, if the president is saying, tarry a while, wait a bit, that does not mean they will not revisit it, because the law is there backing government. Now, when the minister is saying that they want to derail their plan from what? When virtually every ministry, will I say virtually every ministry, must have a generator. The minister's house is also using a generator.
He also said 95% of the protesters are not even affected by it.
I don't know.
What do you make about that statement?
Within the shortest time, he has gone into research and found the figures. Okay, he should tell me the figure from my state, Kaduna State, for example. He should tell me the one from Mancho, for example, so that we know that those who protested are really not concerned. They are not supposed to be there. When you have a general malaise, you have something that is bad, let us collectively find a way out. When you do this kind of a blame game, it doesn't augur well for Nigeria at all.
And in talking about the government quarters, after the two-day Federal Executive Council meeting, there was an announcement that the president has ordered the suspension of the 0.5% cybersecurity levy that was initially announced by the central bank over a week ago. What do you make of that? There's some people who are saying the government is responsive. Some are also saying, well, why didn't you think about the people in the first place before going ahead to announce it?
You see, there's this thing you call flying a kite. Government felt, okay, let us do it this way and see people's reaction. Now that the reactions are too negative, they've got the bashing of their life, they're now having some rethinking. So, you could say, yes, the president is responsive to people's yearning, aspirations. Drop this, and he has done it. Many people are preparing to go to court to sue over this. If, of course, that is so hot for the president, and he has decided, okay, let's tarry a while, it is good for him. But again, that does not mean they will not wake up one day and say they will do it. It is a law that is there, 2015, that it was enacted. And that is a source for them, just like they are saying pension money is a source for them. This cyber security levy is a fund for them. When you collect that money, you're going to send it to the Office of the National Security in terms of fighting terrorism or counter-terrorism war. You see, right from the budgeting process, what was it that terrorism has been with us now for almost 13, 14 years now. So what is it that you've been doing year in, year out, that you now wake up, okay, let's tax the masses and continue this fight?
Yeah. And in talking about the fight that has apparently become unending, ASU versus the federal government yet again, they've given the federal government 2 weeks to constitute governing councils. For the past 11 months, our public universities have not had governing councils. And looking at the Universities Act itself, the governing councils play a critical role in determining some of the significant things that happen within the universities. 11 months on, no news yet. What do you make of this irregularity?
Very, very irregular, and it doesn't augur well for the educational system. If you have a vice chancellor who indeed is just a sole administrator, nobody is there to checkmate him. You don't have a group to say, okay, let's go into this project. Let's see this administration. Let's see to discipline of this. All that VC will just wake up and do, because he cannot sit down and say, okay, we don't have a governing council, therefore we can't move. In trying to move, of course, he's just going to be a solo man that nobody will checkmate. It's only ASU that will do it, and ASU will just simply express what you call an opinion. What's this opinion? We'll go on strike. It's still an opinion. It's not the law. Also, it's to bring pressure to government to still see what is supposed to be done, so that we don't allow sole administrators, or do we call them despots in the system, who indeed will just feel they can just do what they want because they are in charge. Nobody can challenge them.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about this development from Niger State, where the Speaker of the State House of Assembly had put in plans to marry off or pay for the wedding of 100 orphans. And the Minister of Women Affairs was not having it. She, in fact, took up the matter, and now we understand that he's no longer going ahead to do it. But he said the money that he has put in place to finance the wedding, he is not going to take it back. Let's talk about all these approaches to address it, because he was talking about how their parents are poor, the guardians are poor, they can't afford to marry them, and this is all in a good effort to help better their livelihood. I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at the story, but what do you make of it?
How many of those children is he picking as his wife so that he can take care of them? How many? Or how many is he giving to lawmakers so that we know that they are coming from poor backgrounds to go to some to better their situations? But when you begin to tell the world your reason is that they are orphans, their parents were killed by terrorists, and therefore they have no future. I thought the future would have been in the Federal University of Technology, Mina. They would have been in ABU. They would have been in University of Port Harcourt. That is a better way of capturing their plight. And when you have the Child's Right Act, you never thought about that. All you want to do is to just go grab some children. And you're telling us you want to save them from poverty. So who are their husbands? Are you saying that as a lawmaker, as a speaker, a number 3 man in Niger State, you don't know all of this, the implications of all of this? Are you saying that even when they are orphans, they don't have relations? You just make it's even not a law. So do you want? Right. No. He decided to shoot himself on the leg by so doing. Well, it's such an unbecoming kind of an attitude. No, we can't solve poverty that way. Education is key. Let him just say, okay, all of you 100 girls, I'm told they are 100, distribute them. What level are they in school? Give them scholarship. Pay in advance. Just the way Yaya paid for his children for how many years? Now, if you have this money, pay for these children for 5 years, for 10 years, up to university level. That's
a very good note to wrap things up. Pun intended, of course. Mr. Ben Shepherd, as always, thank you so much for the analysis and for the analogies also. Appreciate you for stopping by this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
But they should leave our pension alone.
Exactly. I hope your pension funds are safe indeed. Well, that is our offering for you on Daybreak this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate you for your time and your contribution. We'll be back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. exclusive as always on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Until next time, good morning.